right, so getting started, what I did is I just started doing a little bit of research online, like going to Google and typing in stuff like, uh, is there a good market for selling hoodies? I'm just going to rely on Google AI. Yes, there's a good market for selling hoodies. Is there a popular high demand apparel item that appeals to a wide range of demographics and occasions? Cool. Um, and I'm going to trust AI to have gathered all that information for me. So I'm just going to use that for now. Is there a big market for hoodies on Etsy? Because I'm going to be starting out small, right? I don't expect to have this big store available on a Google search right off the bat with the first order that I get. I'm going to be starting probably on a website like Etsy. Uh, Yes, there's a big market for hoodies on Etsy as they are popular and profitable product. Cool. High demand, right? Great. Everybody needs clothes. It's kind of like the food industry. It might be saturated, but there's always going to be a demand there. So what I did next is I go to YouTube and I typed in how to start a clothing brand, and I found this guy, Marshall Cruz. And he's a pretty savvy young guy, and he's got some really good wisdom. Like, this guy's young, he's been in it. He really carved out a spot for himself, um, and he's got some really good advice, great advice. So a couple of the things, I'll let you guys check those out. But what I gathered from those videos, you can see it right here. He's talking about finding his niche, right? You don't want to compete with the big guys. You're not going to be able to, right? These are just generic sweatshirts. Um, he's speaking more just clothes in general, but I'm speaking hoodies, uh, right? You want something that's a little bit more nuanced and niche. You don't want something that's so niche that there's really no market for it. But what I've already talked about in the intro video, having something that looks good, that's fitted, that's practical, that's natural material, this is going to appeal to a good amount of people. So he also, I think it's this video right here, how I would start a clothing brand in 2025. One of these, he talks about uh, the Alibaba, how you find a manufacturer. So you make an account on Alibaba, and then you find a verified and trade assured manufacturer with at least 4 stars. But he also brings up something called a tech pack. And that's going to be how you convey those instructions, how you diagram everything. It's the packet that you send to the manufacturer to get them to start making your product. So I'm going to type in hoodie tech pack. And right off the bat, I have examples, right? This is this might be a cover page. I don't know. So what I started doing, I just started saving all of these, putting them all on the desktop as I'm going through. I like that. I can understand what's going on there. This one, cool layout. Yeah, that's a cool cover page. I'm gonna save that one too. Ideally, I'm gonna save this as all files. I'm gonna save it desktop. I want to find something that's got, detailed measurements, right? Like, I need examples of what I'm getting into, what I need to start paying attention to, what I need to start learning next. This looks pretty good. Those are some pretty detailed measurements. I'm going to save this one, use it as a reference. All files, save it to desktop. Cool. And yeah, this is a pretty good one too. This is a great one. It's really straightforward. You have your letter measurements here with the corresponding numbers here and what those are. Like, you have B, and that's the chest, and that's the width. So I'm going to save that one as well. So this is what I started doing. And then also, it'd be nice to have a template, right? Because these are all disparate. It's going to be a lot of work kind of creating my own spreadsheet on Excel or another program. And you can see that I already been here, right? We're backtracking a little bit. Already covered this ground. But I found this website, successfulfashiondesigner.com, right? So this gal has a free tech pack. So I entered my email there. I probably shouldn't be showing that to you guys, but whatever, too late. And download, and so I did download that. And that opened up in Google Sheets. So this is what came of that, and I'm not getting spam emails for this individual. It was as advertised. We got a cover page, right? We've got all this information for style numbers, style name, season, vendor. This is pretty detailed stuff. I don't know if I'm COO, right? I'm not quite at that level yet, so maybe I wouldn't use this this template. But again, we're just sourcing ideas. Eventually, I'm going to create my own, and it's probably going to be pretty simple. It's not going to be so decorated with these heavy borders and cells and everything. It's just going to be a sheets with some artwork on it and maybe some measurements that I create. So design specs, right? I think one of those, I'll tell you what, I'll just open up the ones that I've already saved. Tech pack template. So that one's referring to design callouts, right? This is going to be a page with really notes on some of the finer details, right? Not so much the measurements, but what kind of stitching you have here, right? Number 6, cover seam stitch on hood hem. I don't even know what that kind of stitch is, right? Like, you guys are with me in this. I'm learning as I'm going along. Like, I know virtually nothing, but we're figuring it out. We're going to. We got stuff like number 7, a metal eyelet for the drawstring for the hood. Or number 2, dropped shoulder. Okay, so that's what that's called. That's a drop shoulder with a cover stitch, again with the cover stitch. And what do we got here? A single ply, center seam, rib knit, and cuff, right? We got a lot to learn here, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna build it, and yeah, this is a process. So I'm gonna close that. And so I've got all this source. I'm going to go ahead and just move these over here. So we got an idea of what we're looking for the tech pack, right? It's just going to be, well, I'll tell you what, let's go back to the Google Sheets here. So the callouts, we've got any artwork that you want to put on there, right? Labels and tags, you're going to type all your information here, like machine wash instructions, type of fabric, where this was produced. We got our colorways. Eventually we're gonna have to figure out like a really, what's the right word? Kind of a universal color system that the manufacturer can also source. So if you want a very specific color, they're gonna be able to know exactly what that is, right? You're not just uploading a square from Microsoft Paint and hoping that they match it on their end, right? It's going to look different depending on the fabric, and you want a source that's going to be able to universally identify that color, particularly on the fabric, and we'll get into that in later videos. Bill of materials, right? We're going to have to figure out what that manufacturer has access to as far as, is this a cotton blend? Is it pre-shrunk? Is it 55% cotton, 45% hemp? What's the GSM, the grams per square meter? How heavy is this stuff? Again, watching that Marshall Cruz video, he talks about heavier fabric for hoodies being like 350 to 400 GSM, right? You want it to be warm and insulating and thicker fabric. So that's what we're going to need here. And again, with the colorways, we got a graded spec. That's right, we're going to need different sizes. So we're going to be, man, we got a lot to learn. We're getting there. But now we have an idea of how we want to move forward. Sample evaluation form. And again, with Marshall Cruz, he does talk about getting an initial prototype, right? The manufacturer's going to produce one, and you got to pay for it, and it's going to be a little expensive. They're going to send it over, and you're gonna check it out. You're going to put it on. You're going to wear it. You're going to do all your motions in it, kind of put it through the ringer, and see how it holds up. And you're going to critique it. And I'm guessing, I might be wrong, that this page might be for that. I mean, sample evaluation form, measurement has been revised, right? Changes to any of the sizes or the measurements or the lengths of the arm or the stitching type. Yeah, we got quite a bit to learn here, guys. So, since we're finding images online, we need to start designing a hoodie, right? I already have some ideas, and I've already tinkered around a little bit. Again, I'm backtracking here, and I can certainly pull up some of the ones that I have. But let's do free hoodie diagram. Right, we got a lot on here. So, this is free pick. You know what, I'm probably breaking some copyright stuff here. I don't know. I'm just gonna start saving these again to the desktop. Make sure we're saving them the right file. I'm just gonna go hoodie diagram 1, right? Kind of like that one. That one's all right. Okay, what else? Yeah, that's a cool one, right? Licensable. Okay, well, hopefully we're not breaking any copyrights. Hoodie diagram 2. JPEG. Let's save that to the desktop. Make sure we're saving them all to the same place. So yeah, let's find another one. You know, that's pretty cool. Love the color. Can I work with that? Sure. Let's save that one too. Let's get a third one on here. Hoodie diagram 3. Desktop. Okay, cool. So I was saving these. Again, I've already made some progress here. And I was worried, like, okay, gosh, now I gotta learn how to do an image editing program or figure that out. And that's gonna be a whole other endeavor and barrier to entry here. But you know what? I tinkered around with Microsoft Paint 3D and I got a lot done, I'll tell you what. So, yeah, let's pretend like I'm using one of those that I just saved. I'm gonna pull up one that I already found and ripped off online and copied. Okay, so I'm gonna edit this. Okay. Clearly I'm not a professional on the computer. I'm gonna open this with Microsoft Paint 3D and show you what I was thinking. Right, so this looks like your typical hoodie, right? It's kind of boxy, definitely not tight at the waist, right? It's a little bit baggy. And I kind of want my diagram to not just be generic. I want it to kind of look like what I want. And also it's gonna serve well for the cover page so they can kind of have like a general idea at the manufacturing plant what I'm looking for. So we can make this a little bit more form-fitting, right? I can do the magic select. I can narrow that down to just the waist. Zoom back in here. We'll go next. Look, that's highlighted. Cool. And I can cinch that waist up a little bit, right? I'll bring that to one of those little detailed contour drawings. That's a nice tight waist, right? Cool. I can edit this a little bit. I can maybe erase that down. Pretend like that's really clean. It's not. But this is for the sake of the video. You guys will have a lot more time to do this because it's gonna take some major time. And that side already looks good enough. Like I don't think I have to do much there, right? Like maybe just erase that little thing. Okay, and then I can, close this guy up here. bring that down there, and let's pull the thickness down a little bit, kind of matching. And then we can pick a color. And I already tinkered around a little bit, and I found a gray that matched really well. Look, like, come on, we don't need an image editing program. I mean, sure, it's a little rough around the edges, but you can use a curved line. Right? Curve that in. Match it up a little bit. Like, come on. Like, who needs image editing programs? Just use Microsoft Paint 3D. Right? We can make all kinds of edits here. Like, I could do the same thing with the cuffs on the arms. I can narrow these arms up a little bit, right? We can magic select. Go like this. Let's see if that works. Boom, the arm is selected, right? We can narrow this up, right? Make it not look so baggy. That already looks way better. We can clean up those edges, no problem. Do the same thing on the other side. Maybe we can get rid of, right, some of these lines that are suggesting that it's like super baggy. Right. Yeah, maybe we can get rid of that. That makes it look really baggy. Cool. And again, I've already matched some of these colors, so it's not hard to do. Okay, I don't know what those weird lines are. But you get what I'm saying. It doesn't even have to be colored in, right? We're just doing the diagram for the measurements, right? And I can close these up with the same methods that I used over here. I can erase some of these. I can just come back and, right? We don't need shading on here, guys. We can just fill a color. Like this could all be, okay. I got an open line there somewhere. You know, this can all just be one uniform color. We got to close up all the lines for that to work. But you get what I'm saying here. You can do this just with Microsoft Paint 3D. And so start designing, you know, come up with something cool. You can see already that I've been messing around a little bit here. You know, certain designs in the front with buttons and all that. I even have some inspirations here from online. These are actual products. Well, this one's not, but this one is. And, you know, just come up with something. Take a hybrid, you know, find features that you like from all these different hoodies and combine them into one. Or whatever you guys are making, you know, t-shirts or, you know, a flannel button up, or maybe you guys are really endeavoring and you're gonna make a pair of cool pants. I mean, gosh, that seems like a whole other level. It seems complicated, but I mean, not really. We're kind of following the same process here. So coming up with an idea. Now we can start to move forward with building that tech pack. Right, we have an idea of what we want, and we have samples of the tech packs. I'm really struggling here with my screen, aren't I? Right, and we can kind of consolidate all these different ideas and come up with, you know, as Marshall says in his video, 4 or 5 pages, no more than that, of information and specs to send. So my next video is going to be building that tech pack, right? I'm gonna cannibalize a sweatshirt that I already have. I'm gonna cut the seams, I'm gonna break it into pieces, and then I'm gonna stitch it back together with safety pins because I don't know how to sew. And then I'm gonna keep messing with it until it fits the way I want it to fit. And then with those safety pins in place, I'm gonna take measurements and then I'm gonna start building that tech pack, and that's what we're gonna start doing in the next video. I hope this was helpful, you guys. Thank you for joining.